Welcome back. Live look here at Skid Row in Los Angeles. The area is home to one of the largest homeless populations in the country. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass releasing her plans to tackle the crisis. She is calling for a record $1.3 billion for shelters and treatment programs. She even wants to buy hotels that would then be converted to housing. Mayor Bass also wants money for substance abuse treatment beds for the homeless. Meantime, California Governor Gavin Newsom is promising to deliver temporary housing to the city. The Biden administration sending LA more than $200 million for homeless programs. Yesterday, we heard some emotional testimony during the House Judiciary Committee field hearing on violent crime in New York City. Victims, families, even local lawmakers taking Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg to task for his so-called soft on crime policies. Democratic New York City Councilman Robert Holden had plenty to say, and he joins us here now. City Councilman, welcome, and thank you so much for coming on. I know, party affiliation aside, right, safety is what everyone would like to see in their hometown. Why did you feel it was necessary to testify yesterday?
Because I've lived through the bad old days of New York City, and I don't want to go back there. And we're headed in that direction. We're headed to decreased quality of life. We're headed where crime is everywhere. We're headed where people do as they please, drive as they want, go through red lights, ride on the sidewalk with their motorcycles and electric vehicles. It's mayhem in New York City now.
When you were looking at the faces staring back at you, the politicians, were they listening? Do you think they really took to heart what was being said by those witnesses yesterday?
Some were. Most of the Democrats kept mentioning Donald Trump, which we weren't there for that. I don't care about Donald Trump. I care about my constituents, my city, and our quality of life. And we never hear, by the way, I've been on the City Council's Public Safety Committee for 5.5 years. We never had one hearing on the victims of crime. We always have hearings on criminals and their rights. We never hear from the victims. And this is the first time, at least, I agreed to go to this congressional hearing because I wanted to say things about victims and, what's happening to our city.
Sure. And we also heard calls for justice, too, right? We've seen a number of reports where there have been repeat offenders, quite frankly. The New York Times had this report out yesterday, had to do with shoplifters, and basically a number of those folks who had been caught shoplifting did it again and committed the crimes over and over. And these are, again, your big department stores, but then also your local retail shops that have been impacted by this. The purpose of the hearing, again, really to make these concerns known to anyone who would listen, but more specifically the district attorney, Alvin Bragg. Sir, do you think anything might change when it comes to the charges that DA's office could bring forward to actually find justice for those victims of crime?
No, I have no faith in Alvin Bragg because day one he announced he first took over last year that he wasn't going to prosecute minor crimes like resisting arrest. Are you kidding? Trespassing, fare evasion, prostitution. I mean, the list goes on. Knife point robbery, he was going to even downgrade, and commercial and some residential burglaries he wasn't going to prosecute. So what kind of DA is that? And by the way, when he does prosecute, he loses half his cases. That's miserable.
Well, we've seen him, of course, bring the case against Donald Trump. And again, that wasn't the focus of yesterday's hearing. It wasn't the intention behind it. But Donald Trump's name was brought up several times.
Right,
so we'll watch.
They made it political. And
sure.
I wasn't there for that.
Sure. Yeah. We're going to watch that case and hopefully the future cases for the victims of crime that they might find justice. New York City Councilman Robert Holden, thank you, sir, for joining us today. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks so much.